Okay, let's choose up. I'll take Jamal and Tutal. You can have Chubbs and Skippy. Let's go. My ball.
Okay. But you got skins.
Not a good negotiator? You don't have to be a good negotiator at McCarthy Chevrolet. McCarthy guarantees the lowest prices on a new Chevy or we'll pay you $10,000. We guarantee there's no need to shop anyplace else. McCarthy Chevrolet, I-35 and Santa Fe, Olathe.
Certainly another big story this week has to do with Lauren Clim. She won her second feature event in a row at LA Raceway last night in the 305 Sprint. She's joining us right now. Lauren, congratulations. You did it again last night. How'd you do it?
Oh, thank you so much. I don't know. It was an awesome feeling. The track was really rough last night, so I definitely had to be on top of it all 15 laps. We didn't have any cautions, so that was good though. I was happy that we didn't have any cautions, and I just had to stay focused and stay smooth even with the rough track, and lap traffic, had to move through that smoothly and take home the win.
I don't think I've ever seen LA Raceway rough. That's shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, last week it was okay with ASCS, but this week just in 1 and 2 we have that huge dip, and then even 3 and 4 coming off 4 is getting a little rough there.
Is it because did they get some rain down there this week? Why was that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they really worked the track since last week, but I'm not really sure. I think they might have got a little rain. We had a little rain in the morning yesterday, so it probably moved there a little bit towards the middle of the day, yeah.
Well, that's okay. If you wanted a smooth track, you'd be racing asphalt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, let's first talk about this race last Saturday night, which I was down there to see, and I think it was the race of the week. You and Mitchell Moore were really going at it, and there were a couple of times when he had his car completely beside you and even in front, but you're able to power away around. How were you able to fend him off?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize how close he was until I watched the tape. But, yeah, he did sneak up on me a few times. But I just had to tell myself either I'm going to let off and he's going to win, or I'm just going to floor it and keep going, because I was on the top and he was right underneath me, and I knew if I let off a little bit that he would just go with it and I would not have the win. But I knew the top was going to hold me. I knew my car was good, so I just went for it.
Now, Mitchell Moore has been virtually unbeatable down there in the 305 class. By racing against him and with him through all of these many weeks, so there are certain tendencies you've been able to find out about Mitchell when you go to racing?
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good driver. You can't always trust everybody, getting that close to you, but I knew I could trust him. He's a clean driver. He is intense, though, and he will try to intimidate you. You just can't let that happen, but he is a very, very clean, smooth driver, and I do, trust racing side by side with him. So,
you bring up intimidation out on the racetrack. Is this something that you've been able to get in place pretty much in the back of your mind and not let you bother at the racetrack in the early days of when you were racing? Because you've been racing for a while now. Is that just something that experience takes care of by not allowing that to happen?
Yeah, it's been around, ever since I started racing quarter midgets when I was 12. I don't know if it has something to do with because I'm a girl and they think that they can intimidate me. I think it used to get to me when I was younger, but with experience and wisdom and confidence, I think it plays a big part in knowing that I can win and I can beat these boys. So it all works out in the end, I think.
Well, let's, for those that are maybe not familiar with the path of your career, just kind of tell us how you got, of course, we all know your dad is a big-time winner racing. Jeff has won many, many features on pavement out at I-70 Speedway, and he's your mentor right now. But just kind of tell us how you got started and what kind of cars you were in and how you transitioned to where you're at today.
Yeah, my dad raced for many, many years, even before I was born, so... and then I started racing quarter midgets when I was 12, I think, in Topeka, Kansas. We actually raced at the same time for about a year or so, but that was really hectic, racing Saturday night and then waking up and going to the track Sunday morning. Didn't work out very well. And then I raced quarter midgets for maybe 3 years or so, and then I moved up into a micro sprint and raced out at Sweet Springs and Grain Valley. And then the middle of last year, in the middle of the season, is actually when we got my 305, and I've been racing that ever since at LA Raceway. So.
Now, how difficult is it to transition from the quarter midgets to the 600s to the to what you're doing now? What was the transition like, and the adjustment to each of those cars?
Yeah, I think the hardest transition was from the quarter midget to the micro sprint, just because the quarter midget was, similar to a go-kart, and it was also on asphalt, and then you throw yourself into, a miniature sprint car on dirt, and, mud's flying, and you're loose as heck, and that was probably the hardest transition. But then from the micro to the sprint car, not so much. I mean, they're similar in ways, different in others, but I just told myself, this is just, a bigger micro, so just drive it similar, and it seems to be working out okay.
All right, where do you go from here? You want to stay with the 305s for a while, or what's the plan to maybe jump in a 360 car?
I would definitely love to be in a 360 car. I think it would be a big step, but I think that it would work out okay. But I do know they're expensive, so until then, yeah, we'll stick with the 305, and then hopefully something comes along to where we can get in a 360 and maybe travel a little bit and go from there.
So going out and just competing on different racetracks, that would be good for your career. That would be a big focus to try to get around and check out a lot of different tracks and learn.
Yeah, that would only make me better, make me more well-rounded as a driver, and that way I'm not just good at one track, but I've been other places, seen other drivers, seen other racetracks and stuff like that. So. Well,
I know I texted Scott last week when you won that race down at LA Raceway. He was so excited, but I know he's helped you out a little bit. He's not with us here this morning, but he's out on the West Coast right now. But a lot of people were thrilled to see you win that race last week.
Mhm. Yeah, it was exciting. The fans were awesome. They're always really loud when I get out on victory lane, and I think they like it. I think they like not just seeing someone different win, but I think they like seeing a girl, an underdog, kind of take over the show.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to be an underdog forever.
Yeah, I know.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, I am.
But didn't you have the feel of certain expectations when you won a lot of races in the quarter midgets? I'm sure there was a time when you did have those high expectations and you were able to deliver. So do you think you would be able to carry that feeling from the quarter midget ranks where you won a lot, and even the 600 midget ranks, that can continue to carry over as you get older and more experienced? Yeah,
I think that it can. I know that I'm pretty hard on myself, so if I don't do well, then, I'm kind of, upset. But once I get there and start winning a little bit, then I know, what it's like to win and the awesome feeling you get, but also how I got there and how I was able to win. But I think I can follow through with the sprint car as well.
Well, high expectations, that's really a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. If you don't have any expectations, then you're really not, your heart's not into it, and you don't want to make yourself better. But I think it's necessary to have high expectations so you can have something to reach for.
All right, I think the season's over at LA Raceway. What happens here for the rest of the summer?
I'm not really sure. They end really early, and that's it sucks, but that's how they do it. We don't really have any plans to race the 305 anywhere. There might be some shows at Lucas Oil we tried to go to, as long as they have the 305s. Unless the 360 comes along, that would be awesome to take down to Lucas Oil or anywhere around here. But as for the 305, it's just sitting here for now.
Yeah, I can't believe that there's not somebody that owns a 360 car that sees this kind of an opportunity as a big thing that be knocking on your door and giving you a call here soon.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So.
Yeah, so I got to believe, especially ending the season the way you did down to L.A. with 2 wins in a row. That's kind of momentum that you like to see. That I got to believe that there's going to be some people come after you, and we'll try to help you out. We'll get this interview up on the RacinBoys, and
awesome.
We'll help push your career a little bit. You deserve it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Lauren, congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
exciting racing, and appreciate you joining us this morning.
Of course, thank you.
Good luck to you.
Uh-huh.
All right, there she is. I'll tell you what, that's a girl right there that is going out, and she wants to have a big career in racing. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing right now, and that's going out there and running races and winning races.
Hey, she's already won more than Danica Patrick.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
You know that, and that's one of the things that we've seen, and I've talked about this before. There's this weird disconnect about women in racing, because there are women out there that are winning a lot of races at local levels, and there are women that are advancing up through the ranks into ARCA and trucks and nationwide. But for some weird reason, they're not the same women, and I've never really figured that out.
What impressed me about her last Saturday night down at LA Raceway is she was pressured the whole race by Mitchell Moore, a guy that hardly ever loses.
And Mitchell's been around a long time. He's been doing this quite a while.
And he makes a move on her down the outside, coming off one corner, and then dives down to the inside on another and gets around her, and she didn't flinch a bit. She came back around, and she was able to and knew where he was at on the racetrack, and came up and made sure that he wasn't going to make that pass, and she carried right on through the checkered flag. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of even good race car drivers who wouldn't be able to hold off Mitchell Moore last week. She was just fabulous. So congratulations to Lauren Clim. Appreciate her joining us here this morning. We're attempting to try to get a hold of Joshua Stevens because he won what I'm told. John Lee emailed me this morning. He was out there last night and said it was a thriller. 3 wide down to the wire, the non-wing sprint car race out at Valley Speedway last night. Chad Shields had led most of the way in that race, but here comes Cody Baker, and here comes Joshua Stevens from 17th starting spot, second a week in a row, coming from the back of the pack to win at Valley Speedway last night, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a hold of him or not. I want to mention that the other winners out at Lakeside Speedway last night, Kelby Ostrander, in an exciting Grand National feature, wins for the third time this year. Gene Claxton repeats in the B-Mod class, and Scotty Moore, his second in a row in the factory stock division at Lakeside Speedway. Congratulations to all of those winners last night, and we'll get you the winners of Valley Speedway and LA Raceway as well. In addition to Joshua Stevens winning at Valley Speedway last night, it was Brett Wood in the ULMA late model division. They had 12 of those cars last night. 600cc micro sprints, Cale Mueller of Savannah, Missouri, winning that race. They had 16 of those cars, and Dylan Rafferty in the Midwest Mod Lights are running the stock cars. Tonight out at Valley Speedway, last Saturday night, Jim Moody picks up the modified win, and Brian Ziegler winning the 40-lap street stock race out at Valley Speedway. LA Raceway, Matt Dotson wins the A-modified feature of the season finale at LA Raceway over Mickey Burrell and Terry Schultz. Jason Thompson back in a modified last night, finishes 4th. Scotty Roberts was 5th. And in the other divisions, Galen Hassler in B-Mods, Ted Welshmeyer in street stocks, and Michael Tyler in the hobby stock division. And let's go to the phone right now. Alan Miller joining us this morning. He's the voice of Friday Night Racing out at Valley Speedway. Quite a race in that non-wing sprint car race last night, huh?
Oh, it was fantastic, guys. I tell you what, and this is 2 weeks in a row for Joshua Stevens. He starts on the inside of the 9th row, so 17th, works his way up through the field, and it was a thriller right at the end. We had, like you said earlier, Chad Shields led that entire race. Unfortunately, right at the end, we basically had 3 wide. We had Cody Baker, who was actually in his sister's car, Casey Baker, the 9 car. He was driving that car for her last night. He came up through the field as well. And Joshua Stevens, and they get in behind a lapped car, and that was a tough break for Chad. He probably had that race, but Stevens got to the high side. He got around the traffic, and the thriller right at the end, last lap coming out of turn 4, he takes the victory last night. So good for him. 2 weeks in a row, The week before, he started 19th and won the feature in that event. There was a number of cautions the week before that helped him out. So
if he's got a fast race car, Alan, why is he starting so far back?
Well, he's had 2 weeks in a row where he's had problems in his heat races. He had to pull off again last night during his heat race with a mechanical problem, and was able to get things back together and get him into the feature event. So that happened the week prior as well. So he starts back way in deep in the field and comes up through to win it. So, and I tell you what, each week out there, the sprint races have just been fantastic out there. We have 18 to 20 cars with the Valley Sprints in it. I tell you, the 305 guys are just as competitive as a 410 engine. In fact, we had Brad Ryan in a 305. He won a feature out there just several weeks ago. So it's good racing across the board, whether you got a 305, a 360, or a 410 as well.
Yeah, I've been amazed by the car counts in this non-wing sprint car division out there, and I think you touched on it. The reason why is they're allowing to run the 305s, the 360s, even the 410s.
The reason why is the non-wing.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
to me is one of the big success stories in weekly racing in this area, is the Valley Sprint cars on Saturday night, because Dennis has proven that it is possible to still have a weekly sprint car show as long as you don't run them with them big aluminum things on the top that make horsepower so critical.
You bet. And, as the track slicks off during the evening, then you have it ends up being the driver and your setup taking over instead of the power of the engine. So,
Yep.
Like I said, we've really had some exciting features. And if you're a sprint car fan, come down on a Friday night, because I tell you what, we've really had some exciting feature events, especially here.
Hey,
at
Alan,
Valley Speedway.
while I got you on the air, there's some big sprint car shows coming up here before the end of the season, not the least of which, a week from tonight, August the 4th, you got the USAC Sprints coming in. Tell us about that show.
You bet. It should be a fantastic show. And Dennis has put up some extra money for the local drivers as well. If they choose to race that weekend on Friday, we'll have our normal show on Friday night. The drivers' pit passes will be paid for Friday and Saturday if they race both nights, and some additional payout. If one of the local drivers would happen to win that race, an extra $1,000 on top of the USAC payout for that winner. Also for paying on down some additional money as well for start money. So Dennis has really stepped up this year, supporting the local drivers that support his weekly racing out there at Valley Speedway.
Got a couple of ASCS Warrior Region shows still yet to go here in the season, right?
You bet. Yeah, we're looking forward to the ASCS Warrior. In addition to that, the USMTS will be on the card here on a Thursday night here in August, and then we'll have the Monster Truck Show as well on August 10th and 11th, and that'll be a kind of an interesting weekend. We'll have the ULMA late models. I heard you talking about that a little bit earlier. We had 12 late models last night, and I tell you what, those guys went green, white, checker, no cautions last night. Brett Woods won the race, but they put on quite a show, 20 laps in just a little over 5 minutes. So they put on quite a show there last night. It was good with micro spins. We had 16 of those guys show up last night as well. So good car count, good show last night down at Valley Speedway. It was nice to have just a little bit cooler temperatures, not much, but at least we were under 100 last night.
That's a good thing. Enjoy it while you can. All right,
Yep.
Alan, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You bet. You guys take care.
All right, take care. Hey, this hour of Track Talk on RacinBoys TV brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet. You don't need to be a good negotiator. Why? Because McCarthy Chevrolet has a $10,000 low price guarantee. What's that mean? They'll guarantee the lowest price of any Chevy that you buy, or they'll pay you $10,000. Go to McCarthyChevrolet.com. We got the banner up on the homepage. Go to the link, and you'll see what it's all about. McCarthy Chevrolet, located in Olathe, right off Santa Fe exit on Rawhide Drive, just on the right-hand side, west side of I-35 as you're going south. And they are open tonight until 7 o'clock. Check it on out. If you're looking for a brand new Chevrolet or even a previously owned car, they can take care of you at McCarthy Chevrolet. Some other racing events going on. We're going over to Topeka tonight. I'm heading to Heartland Park, Topeka, but Thunder Hill Speedway, they've got a big season going on. Of course, I want to get your take on, probably everybody's been talking about this for a long time, but the horrifying crash that Tom Charles was involved in here a couple of weeks ago at Thunder Hill Speedway and able to walk away uninjured. That was just unbelievable what happened over there 2 weeks ago.
That was a huge crash. That was easily the worst crash I've ever seen at Thunder Hill Speedway. I mean, in terms of visuals, not in terms of its effect, of course. Had a noted local driver, Steve Bowers, who unfortunately lost his life there a few years ago. But I mean, in terms of the visual, the damage, it was the wildest crash I've ever seen at Thunder Hill. And you know what? It just came about from hard racing. I mean, Tom and Matt Stahlbaumer were just running hard for the lead of a heat race, and they got together, and Tom went for a ride. Thank God he's okay. It's just one of those things that happens.
If that had landed, I mean, he said if that had landed any, inch or two this way or that way, who knows what could have happened. I mean, the good Lord was looking after him on that one.
Yeah, and you can always say that, but just very glad Tom's okay out of that. And of course, the irony to the whole thing is that car happens to be the featured car on the posters and ads for the IMCA Super Nationals at Boone. Of course, when it was in much better shape, they got a great picture of Tom backing it into the corner, and it's just kind of ironic that that's the picture that they're using to promote the Boone Super Nationals, and that car don't really exist anymore.
And here's what's miraculous. He takes his old two-link car up to the Harris Clash in Knoxville and makes the A main, which I thought was just pretty incredible in itself. And then a night later comes to Lakeside Speedway, starts on the front row of the A feature, and ends up 6th. So it was quite an eventful week in the long history of Tom Charles.
Well, a couple of things on that. Number one, that old car's a good car. Tom refuses to let that car go away. That car probably could have become a B-mod for somebody years ago, and Tom just likes that car, and he should. It's a car he built himself. But number two, those two tracks are tracks that lend themselves about as well as any track to that car, because they both tend to be fairly sticky, which helps the two-link get a lot of the same grip as a four-link. They're high-speed, high-momentum tracks. Again, same deal. And I think you could throw Thunder Hill in that bucket too, because it's a high-speed track that tends to stay fairly sticky. So at least for the near future, hopefully Tom's going to be able to remain somewhat competitive with that car, and at the very least finish out the season. We'll see what he does for next year.
Just turned 55 years old in May.
Doesn't look a day over 60.
And then you look at Gene Claxton, who 61 years old.
Yep.
He's out there and he wins again last night. Nothing changes with these guys. They just continue to go out and get her done.
And it's fun to watch.
Yep. Kirk, that's Todd. He said that B-Mod car was probably going to be his grandson's car eventually, was what that car was that Tom crashed. And I think he said he might be turning that into, was going to be his grandson's car, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go.
Well, I was going to say, those old two-link cars, a lot of them have been turned into B-Mods, but be interesting to see what Tom gets now, because that Dirtworks car that he crashed was a few years old too, I think.
That's a long career when you're ready to put your grandson in your car.
Yes, it is.
That means you've been around a long time.
You are right.
But anyway, we're happy he's hurt. What's planned for you here coming up here this weekend and beyond?
Playing it by ear. My wife's in the Mustang Club. We got a couple of events to do with them, and that's pretty much it.
And you're busy with your business, Brad. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, yeah. BuyRaceParts.com is keeping me busy. Continue to be adding products all the time. Continue to be selling products all the time. It's been a great little business. Pays for some of my hobbies. Of course, my main business is sales training and getting more and more national bookings on that. But I'm a busy guy these days, and it's a lot of fun. That's why when it gets to the weekend, I don't make plans.
So
I got my weeks get planned pretty well for me.
you had this race car that you were wanting to get out on the racetrack, but that's
I still make progress on it a little bit at a time, but yeah, it's still on the back burner. It's an IMCA stock car, so I'm not worried about them changing the rules out from under me.
Yep, that's one good thing. So
yep.
Eventually you'll have it out. I'm going to be there when you get that thing out of there. I'm going to try to be there for that.
I will let you know.
That's going to be a big day.
I may let you know on about the second or third night. I don't think the first night's going to be real pretty.
All right. Troy, thanks for coming in. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Kurt.
it. And we appreciate you for being with us here this morning on RacinBoys TV. We're going to be here next Saturday. Scott's going to be with us for the full 2 hours next week if he gets out of the dental chair alive. So we wish him the best for that and safe travels him. And again tonight, Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series live on RacinBoys Radio from Hanford, California. We hope you tune in. Santa Maria, California tomorrow night. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. Thanks to Todd Surprise for helping us out. Have a good weekend.
Everybody feels alone, so if the burden is mine, then I can carry my own. If joy really comes in the morning time, then I'm gonna sit back and wait until the next sunrise.